Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, or welcome back to Nate Stitches. So let's get on to today's video where we're making this beautiful dress. If you're interested, keep watching. So I folded my fabrics into two, so I'll be able to cut my front pattern. That's the one for the shirring. Now for us to measure the front part, which is our shirring, we're going to say our bust measurement divided by 2 times 1.5 plus 1 inch is for sewing allowance. So when you do that, you're just going to go ahead and cut it into like a rectangle. So I folded my fabrics into two right here, and then I'm taking the length of my top part of my dress, which is 18 inches, but I took away 5 inches because it's like an off shoulder. So what I did here was I was taking my 2 inches, which would be for my elastic casing, and then from there I'll put my 5 inches and then take my 18 inches for my half length, like I'm doing in the video. Now for the sleeve, I came in by 4 inches, and then we'll place our tape in the way that we are minusing 5 inch, and then we take our armhole measurement, which is 7. So that from that 5 inch, if you minus 5 inch from 7, you get 3. So you're literally taking 3 as your armhole measurement, and then you go ahead and curve it and then cut it out. So when you open it up, this is exactly what you should get. Now for the back, we're just going to fold in our 5 inches like we did for the front, and then we are going to just place our pattern and then trace it out. Do not forget to put your 1 inch sewing allowance when tracing out. Make sure you cut the exact way your pattern is. I added extra inches for mine because my pattern was wrong. So what I'm doing here is I'm going up by 3 inches, and then I'll just connect. I'll just eyeball it, connect like I'm doing in the video. Yeah, I just came back to add my seam allowance. I forgot to add it. Now for this part, there's no particular measurement I used, so I just eyeballed it. Like I just used my hand and just, curved it whichever way I wanted, because this was the exact style we're going for. And so you can just eyeball it. How long you want the tie totally depends on you. The one I did was pretty long, and the one on the photo wasn't as long as the one I did. So I'll say the one I did was more like 20 inches, while the one on the photo is more like 15 or less. After you mark, just go ahead and cut it out. So I needed to tear for this skirt part, which is 15 inches for the first tear and then 5 inches for the second one. So here I'm just explaining how I got the rectangle. Now for the sleeves, I cut 10 inches on fold, then I placed my top pattern on the sleeve to cut out the armhole. Don't forget to add your 1.5 inch for the top and the down part for your elastic casing. So this is the elastic I'll be using for our shirring, and we'll be rolling it on our shuttle, the one that goes under the machine. So you'll be using your hand instead of the machine, so it's not too tight and it's not too loose. Just do as many as possible and then keep it aside. Now I'll be starting from the back. I'll be finishing the top and the bottom part of our back for the hemming. So I'm just rolling it 2 times, and then I'll go ahead and sew it on my sewing machine. I'll do the same thing for the down part, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Now this is what I have. You want to repeat the same thing for the other side of your back. So now you're going to keep this aside. The next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to sew my elastic casing that I'll be able to fix my elastic on the front part of my dress like I'm doing in the video. After you sew that, you want to go ahead and start shirring your fabric, which is what I'm doing for the next step. So now I'm trying to put my elastic in my shuttle. So at this point, you can go ahead and just mark out all the lines you want to sew if you don't know how to sew a straight line. Or you can just do whatever I'm doing in the video. So the next thing I did was that I adjusted my length of my stitch to 5 inches and then tried it out on the scrap fabric just to make sure I'm fine. And then after I was okay with it, I went ahead to start sharing my main fabric like I'm doing in the video. So this is a very long process, especially when you're using a manual machine, and it can be very stressful. So you can just be singing along when you're doing this or watching a movie if you can multitask, and well, you can be praying tongues, singing and praying, whatever works for you. Just make sure that you are very patient and you can take breaks along the line. It's okay, it's totally fine. So you repeat this process over and over again till you get to the end of your half length. So I will show you when I'm almost done. Okay, at the beginning I enjoyed it, but after I started getting to the end, I was already getting tired and I was getting exhausted. So yeah. So here I am, lovelies. I was almost done here. I was really happy. So what I was doing, I was using the foot to measure it. So that's exactly what I was doing. And yeah, I was almost done. I was so happy. So at this point, I was already done sharing. So I wanted to join my down part of my skirt to the top part. So I needed to gather the down part. So the wideness of this first chair was 56 inches on fold. Then I had to cut it into two because I needed one for the back, which I'm doing here. And I'm trying to fix my elastic casing because I'll be passing the elastic for the back. And then I'll go ahead and sew the longest stitch on my machine and then gather the first tier. So I gathered it to the measurement of my top, the waist measurement of my top. Please ignore my ashy hand. At this point, I didn't even know that it was that ashy. So anyways, what I'm doing here is I'm just placing my front pattern to the down part of my dress, and then I'll go ahead and sew on it. So when joining the up and the down pattern together, you are going to use your normal stitch length. My stitch length I used is 3 inches. So now this is what I have. It was looking so good. I was so happy with this result. So now what I'm doing is I'm passing my elastic through my elastic casing for the back. And then how I got the elastic was I divided my waist by 2 and then minus 3 inches for my elastic. And that's what I did here. So this is what I have. So now I'm going to join it to my front pattern like I'm doing in the video. Just follow what I'm doing and you'll be fine. So what I'm doing here is just joining it on my waist area and then I'll sew it all the way down, and I'll do the same thing for the other side as well. After pinning it, you're going to go ahead and sew it. Don't forget to repeat the same thing for the other side as well. Now we're going to fix our back, which is our right side facing each other. The tie will be towards the center back, and then you go ahead and place your back and then sew it. And make sure you pin it first so you know and see the exact thing you're doing. So you repeat the same thing for the other side as well. Now this is how it will look like. So after sewing, this is what I have now. What I want to do now is I want to pass my elastic through my elastic casing for the upper part of my dress. The same way I'm passing this elastic through my elastic casing, the same way you're going to pass it through for the sleeve, the top part of the sleeve and the down as well. So this is what I have right now. It is already looking so good. I'm so happy with the results. So what I'm going to do now is fix my sleeves. So I've gone ahead to fix my elastic through my elastic casing for my sleeves. I fixed it with through the up and the down part of the sleeves. Then I went ahead to sew the seam allowance, which I kind of did wrong here, which I sewed the back together. So I had to go back and seam rip it and then do it all over again. After fixing that, I turned my sleeve to the right side of the fabric and then I went ahead to join it like I'm doing in the video. Just match the seams and then you go ahead and sew it like I'll show you here. Don't forget to repeat the same thing for the other sleeves as well. So the idea for the second tier is that I'm going to sew it on the first tier, more like top stitch it on the first tier. So I have to find a way to conceal the rough edges, which I'm doing here. I'm just folding my fabric into two, then I'm sewing it. Then I'll go ahead and sew my long stitch to gather my fabric. But then I've gone ahead to weave the down part of my first tier so there won't be any rough edges. So you want to gather your fabric to the exact size of the down part of your first tier, which I am doing here. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to just go ahead and pin it. Yeah, I love to pin. I just pin it all the way around to make sure that I am fine. So if I didn't pin it, I would have losing this stuff, because when I finished pinning, I found out that it was twisted. So I had to go back again and redo the whole thing. So yeah, please pin and make sure that you're fine so you don't have to do double work. So I'm just trying to pin my second tier to my first tier. So that's exactly what I'm doing here. I'm just showing you the process so you know exactly what you have to do. So this is the point where I saw that it was twisted. I was like, oh my god. But yeah, I just had to redo the whole thing again. So I did, and this is what we have, and then we are going to top stitch on it. And then you finish the hem of your dress and we are done. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you found this video useful. Do not forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you do not miss any future videos. Yeah, happy sewing. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.